Now, if you wanted to create a flashy Canvas page, you could go and simply go to the internet and Google some headings and some buttons, and you can find just about anything you're looking for without having to create anything if you don't want to. So you could make, some buttons or find some buttons out there for maybe the days of the week or maybe for certain things. But if you're going to have anything that's custom, maybe I wanted to say technology with Mr. Wagner across the top of my page, I'm probably not going to be able to find that on the internet unless Mrs. Smith might be lucky enough to find something with a common last name. So, for example, I want to make some custom things. So my favorite app to do that is to use Keynote. Now, Keynote can be used either on the Mac or the iPad, and I like to use it on the iPad because I actually have the ability to use my Apple Pencil to do this. Now, you could also use Google Draw, can create graphics this way. You could also use Canva, which is a great tool on iPad or on the web to create some of these fancy, stylish graphics as well. But I'm going to show you Keynote today. So when I open up Keynote, I'm going to hit the plus sign in the upper right hand corner to create a presentation. Now it gives you all kinds of themes to choose from, but I'm going to start with just a plain white one. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to get rid of all of these boxes. I don't want any boxes in here. I want to start from complete scratch. Now, if I did want to, I could keep maybe the title box if I know I'm going to make a title slide or something. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Keynote to design my graphics, and then I'm going to export it when I'm finished as images that I can then upload right into my Canvas course. So let's say I'm going to make a graphic for my header across the top. So I want it to say technology with Mr. Wagner right across the top here. So I could simply hit the plus sign, and I have these buttons up here at the top. I can insert pictures or video. I could take my own picture if I want. I have a shape tool here. The shape tool has all kinds of different shapes. In fact, you can find a lot of different things that you can use for buttons. You can change the colors. There's all kinds of fun things you could do with using nothing but shapes. But over here on basic shapes, there is an option for text, and there's an option just for some generic rectangles, circles, and so on. So let's say I want to start with something like this rectangle, and I got the one here with the rounded corners. And if I move it over here in the upper corner and click on the bottom right hand corner, I can click and drag to design my own header just like that. Now, I probably don't want black, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the paintbrush, and I have an option for style up here at the top, and this is the color of this box. So I could make it blue if I wanted to, or red or green. And down here at the bottom, I could even choose whether or not this is going to be a solid fill. I could do a gradient fill, which blends two colors together. Or I could even do image searches if I want, and take any images I found off the internet or any image that's in my photo library and be able to upload those as well. Maybe you're going to put an actual photo of your classroom in there if you want. But I'm going to go ahead and do this just plain gradient, just like that. So if I wanted to add some text, I could double click inside this box and I could type some text in here, which works just fine. And I can still change the font size, color, all those things. But what I like to do instead is I like to hit the plus sign and add a text box. It's in the basic section of my shapes. And if I click text, this gives me a box that I can put anywhere I want. And the reason I like to use a text box is I'm going to go ahead and type in technology here. And I can highlight that text, and I'll click on my paintbrush. And again, this time I'm going to click on text, and I'm going to give that text a paragraph style. So maybe I'll do a title, which already makes it nice and large here. And if I go back to my text, I could choose maybe the text color. Maybe I want it to be white. I could go back, I could make it bold, italics, underline. I could change the font if I want, and do some fun things with it if I want to. But again, the main reason I like to do something like text in a text box is because I can put it anywhere I want. So if I'm really picky about where I want this to go, I can totally customize where it's going to look or show up on my box. So I'm going to go with maybe just Rockwell here. It's a simple kind of block text. And so I could move this over here. I could move this down here at the bottom, maybe kind of blend it in with the ground if I want, or maybe I want it over here in the corner. I could totally control what that looks like because my text is in a separate box than everything else. So I'm also going to highlight my text one more time, and I'm going to turn on under bold, italics, underline, in these three dots, there is something called small caps. And what that does is anything that you did with a capital letter will be a little bit larger than anything that was lowercase, but it does make all of them capital letters. So once I have this, and again, I can resize this to make this box however large I need. I can center it. I can make it maybe a little bit larger. If I wanted to fill the box more, I could adjust that to be able to do that. And then maybe I'll center it in here. And again, control exactly where it looks. But now if I wanted to add some more text, I want it to say with Mr. Wagner here, or maybe just Mr. Wagner, I can hit that plus sign again, and I could add another box of text. But that text option or that plus sign option over here on the right does have the ability to do drawings. So if I wanted to, I could actually insert my own drawings, and this is where the Apple Pencil comes in. So I have a little toolbar down here, and I have a marker tool, pencil tool, crayon tool, and so on. And I could change the color here, and maybe I will do like a red. And now I can actually use my Apple Pencil and be able to draw directly on this. So if I wanted to, I could write, nice bubbly font, to go on, whatever. My handwriting is atrocious. But same deal, this is now a box. I can move it around, I can resize it and say, it's too big, that's too small, I want this to be in the corner, I want this to be, larger, etc. So you can totally control what these graphics look like and how these are. And, if you really wanted to, you could get fancy, and I could, write on top of all my letters and fancy up all of my graphics. Or if you're someone artistic and wanted to do and have some fun with that, you could create some really neat things by simply using the drawing tool in here. So when I'm done doing my drawing, I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And now let's say my image is finished. Let's say this is my heading. I'm really happy with it, and I think it looks really cool. Now, when I'm done and I'm happy with this, you need to put one image per slide. So if this is my main header tool, and let's say I wanted to make another one just like it, but instead of it saying technology, I wanted it to say something else, I could actually tap on my slide over here on the left, and I could actually tell it to simply copy it. And if I click into this empty space and paste, I could duplicate it. And I could do that again and paste. And then I could go into here, and then maybe this is going to be my All About Me page. So in this particular page, maybe I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and just tap and delete that. Maybe instead of it saying technology, I want it to say All About Me. And then I still have these little graphics here, this little floating thing where I was drawing. I can make that go away. Oops, I accidentally have a capital L in there. Maybe I want it to be a different color. I can click on the box, and then I'll go up here to my paintbrush in this one. Instead of it being a green gradient, or a blue, maybe I'll make it green, and then I'll make this also a gradient. So let's see here. I want it to be maybe a couple different shades of green. So I want maybe a lighter green to a darker green, or so on. All right, so I could totally customize, and then I could go to the next slide and do the same thing. So you don't have to start from scratch every single time. So once I've finished all of my slides and I'm happy with the way they look, now I'm simply ready to export them. So all I have to do is simply click on these three dots in the upper right hand corner and go down here to export. And then from here, I want to choose images. And it will ask me what slides I want. In this case, I want my entire slideshow, slide 1 through 3. And then it's going to ask me what format I want. JPEG will work, so will PNG. Honestly, any of these will work, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave it as a higher quality JPEG image and click export. And now it's going to ask me, where do I want to put these? And so I'm going to go ahead and tell it just to save these 3 images, and that will put it directly into my camera roll. Or I could save it to my Files app and put it in a folder in there if I'd like. But in this case, I'll just save it. And now, if I switch gears and look to my photo library, I should now see my images. So give it a second. And here they are. Now, if I click on it, you'll notice it's got all this empty white space down here. If I leave it like this, that white space will show up in my Canvas page, and it won't let me put anything on this space since I didn't add it to my slide. So one last step before I insert them is I'm going to tap Edit in my Photos app, and I'm simply going to use the Crop tool, and I'm going to click on the bottom corner, and I'm just going to crop this up to about right there, right below my signature here, and then hit Done. And now I'm going to go to the next image and do the same thing, edit, crop, and move that up. So I'm going to open up my courses here. Here's a playground course I've been playing around with. And then I'm on my home page, which is a simple page that's set to be my home page. And I'm going to go ahead and go to edit by clicking on the pencil. And if I'm ready to insert an image, I'm going to go over here to the right hand side where it says images, and I'm going to upload a new image. Now when I click on that, it's going to ask me to choose that location, and so this could be from my camera, this could be from my photo library, which is where my pictures are saved, or I could even browse and take things off my Google Drive or on my Files app as well. But in this case, it's in my photo library, and here are my images. So if I click on this, so if I choose that image and hit Done, the only other thing I have to do here is I have to give it alternative text. This is for students with visual disabilities who might be using a screen reader to read what's happening on the screen. So I'm going to call this a technology title because that's what this is. And then if somebody with using a screen reader, it would read the name of that title, technology title, to them. So you just want to give it a good descriptive name. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and just hit upload. And then once I've done that, my graphic gets inserted in there just like that. And now all I got to do is scroll down and hit save. And then now my home page has a nice graphic across the front. And I can go to edit, and now I can start working on my content the exact same way. And so that's all there is to it. Takes a little creativity and a little patience, but you can create some really nice custom graphics specifically using nothing but Keynote.